Hello everyone, welcome back. So in the previous lecture, we understood what DBMS is and what are we going to learn throughout this course. In this lecture, we will understand the journey from data to database management system, and we will learn the fundamental concepts behind them. So let's start our journey from simple data to the powerful database management system. Let's start with the word data. So what is data? So data does not have any single definition. Basically, its interpretation depends upon the context in which it is being used. So there can be general usage. Data has different meaning for computation. Data has different meaning for database. For machine learning, it may be your CSV file. So generally speaking, data is raw fact or observation or any symbol. For example, someone says you 85 or the name Ravi or the color red. So what do these words, these observations, these symbols, they indicate? That thing is not clear. So the important point is it is basic representation of facts. So when it comes to the definition of data for database systems, it means structured raw fact which is stored in the database. What is structured? It can be in the form of tables. For example, student table, it will have the roll number, name, marks. This is the data for database system. So the important point to be noted is data in the database system is for efficient storage and retrieval. So let me summarize what data is. So in database management system, data refers to the raw facts and figures that are stored in structured form on some storage device, like where do you store the data? In hard disks or the SSDs, so that these data can be efficiently retrieved, processed, and used when needed. This data may include not only the text and numbers, but also they may include images, audios, videos, and other multimedia content. So these multimedia content, which are stored either directly in the database, that is in the form of blob, or your multimedia data may be saved as a reference, that is file path or the URLs. So here blob is the binary large object. So unlike standard SQL data types that store your characters and numbers, it is a specialized data type which is used to store massive amount of unstructured binary data. Next, we want to move from data to information. What is information? Information is processed data with certain meaning. And in database management system, information is the output which can be obtained after processing the raw data in such a way that it becomes meaningful and useful. The data in the database system, as I have said, it is structured data. So data is stored in the database in the form of tables. DBMS processes the data using certain queries, and the output becomes the information. For example, you have certain data. This is student table, and it has got certain names like Rahul and Ankit, and it has got certain marks, for example 75 and 85. This student table, the data is what? 75, 85, Rahul or Ankit. So do they make any sense? No. They make the sense when it becomes information. So what sort of information can you infer from this? So Ankit has higher marks than Rahul. This becomes your information. Now let's move from information to the word database. So what is a database? So database is organized collection of data. This definition we are knowing since our childhood. Let me put it in another words. Database is collection of related tables plus certain rules plus certain structure. A database is nothing but an organized collection of related data that is stored in structured format, that is tables, and there are certain rules. We will learn about things like relationship, integrity, and controlled access so that it can be easily accessed, managed, updated, and retrieved. Next, we want to jump from database to the word management. What is management? It is nothing but getting the work done in a systematic way using available resources. So in DBMS, management refers to handling the data in such a way that it can be stored, it can be organized, it can be updated, and it can be retrieved efficiently. So this is called management of the data. Next, we come to the word system. What is system? I think since your childhood, you have been learning about the solar system, your muscular system, the skeletal system, the circulatory system, nervous system, so on and so forth. So a system is a group of parts that work together in an organized way to perform certain specific function. For example, in your human body system, your heart, your lungs, your brain, all of these things, they work together to achieve one goal, that is to keep the body alive. Similarly, in DBMS, the word system is the collection of data, software, hardware, users, that is you. You are also part of the database management system, procedures and certain rules which come together to achieve one goal, that is to store or manage or protect or to retrieve the data. Let's move to the word management system. What is a management system? It is a special type of system such as the library management system or the hospital management system or your traffic management system and finally your data management system. These are special type of systems that focus on controlling and managing something efficiently. So your library management system, it controls the flow of the books. The hospital management system, it controls the flow of the patient records, okay, so that the diagnosis, it goes properly. Traffic management system, so that the traffic flows smoothly. And finally, the database management system, it helps in managing data efficiently. So having learned the word management system, let's ultimately come to the word database management system. DBMS is a special kind of management system that helps us to manage the data in an organized way so that it can be easily accessed, updated, and protected. We have seen this thing in the previous lecture. You can go through the lecture and come back here. Thus, we have seen the journey from data to the database management system. Hope you enjoyed this. Let's see where your database management system actually lies. We have already seen the two computers, the client and the server. Your DBMS lies on the server computer For example, the Oracle server or the MySQL server. So these are the DBMS which lie on the server computer. The role of DBMS is to execute the SQL queries. So we learn about the structured query language. So whatever query comes, so it's the DBMS which executes it. Now let's understand the client and the server. First, we'll study about the client. It's a computer which has the CPU, the RAM, your hard disk drive. Okay, and there are certain softwares which are on these computers. It may be your web browser, for example, your Google Chrome, your Mozilla Firefox, like Edge. These computers may have certain SQL client tools. For example, you may have MySQL Workbench or SQL Developer. These are not the database management system, but these are certain tools which help you to write the query. Client may have mobile applications. For example, your cell phone has banking apps, e-commerce apps, etc. Your client has the front-end applications like your college ERP login portal or your Gmail user interface. And we may have office tools for data entry, for example, MS Excel, Google Sheets for the client side use. The purpose of the client is to send the request to the server. Next, we move on to the another computer called as the server. A server also has certain processing unit. It will have certain RAM, it will have certain storage device, but on large scale. So your database or your tables, it is basically stored in these storage devices located on the server side. So what makes it different from client computers? So the servers, they have special softwares. For example, your database management system software. It will be located on the server side. DBMS softwares like Oracle Database, MySQL Server, PostgreSQL. So these are database management system software located on the server side. Besides this, a server may be web server, for example, Apache, HTTP server, Nginx, or Microsoft IIS. A server may be certain cloud platforms like AWS Server Service, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. The server computers may have authentication servers, for example, Active Dictionary or LDAP servers. And finally, there may be certain application servers like Tomcat, WebLogic, JBoss. So all these things are located on the server side. Having built this knowledge, let me ask you one question. So the question is, in which category will you keep Flipkart? By category, I mean, is it DBMS software? Is it web server? Is it cloud platform? Is it authentication server? Is it application server? So let us discuss this in detail. So you have a client computer, it may be your cell phone, and you, the client, you want to open an account on the Flipkart app or Flipkart website. Then you have to sign up. So during that process, what do? You give your cell phone number, your email ID, your name, and you set certain password. This data is filled in the client side interface or the form. What happens to this form? You send this request to the server. When you click the word sign up or continue, You are basically requesting. What are you requesting? Please create an account. For example, my name is Dr. Souvik Singh Rathore. My cell phone number is this, and I have set certain password. This request will go to Flipkart server through internet. What happens then? Your server, it receives the request. Till now, it hasn't processed anything. It has just received. It will authenticate what sort of data is coming. So your Flipkart server will check, is the mobile number already registered? Is the data valid? Or is the password strong enough? Having checked this, it will then process the data, and here your DBMS role comes into picture. Server will store the data, whatever form we have filled. For example, it will give me certain user ID, it will store my name, Dr. Souvik Singh Rathore, it will store my mobile number, it will store my password. So what is this? This is nothing but a SQL insert operation, and this operation is carried out internally in the DBMS. So having seen this, finally you come to the step 5. Your server, it sends the response to account created successfully, or it may say that mobile number already exists. And finally, the client will receive the message, welcome to Flipkart Souvik. Now you have to tell me, what sort of server was Flipkart? Was it DBMS? Was it a cloud platform? What was it? So Flipkart isn't a single server type. It is basically a distributed cloud-based e-commerce system that uses web servers like Nginx, application server like microservices or Tomcat-based systems. It also has database management system, for example, MySQL or MongoDB. And it also has cloud infrastructures like AWS like platform. Okay, and all these things, they work together. And finally, we come to this slide which I had discussed in the first lecture. What is DBMS? So it is basically a software that helps the users to manage data in an organized way so that it can be easily accessed, updated, and protected. DBMS, it stores the data, it retrieves the data when needed, inserts new data, updates the existing data, it deletes the unwanted data. DBMS also controls who can access the data, and DBMS maintains the data consistency and accuracy. Example, MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, and Oracle database. Thus, we come to the end of video 2. I think you learned a lot and you enjoyed the journey from data to the database. Hope you like this video. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.